Welcome back to Transfers Talk Tennessee Sports. I'm Katie Mack.
And I'm Zeta Pooney. And today we have one of my teammates from softball here with us today, Ella Dodge.
Hi, Ella.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So, you want to talk a little bit about Ella real quick?
So Ella joined our team this spring, like in January when we got back from Christmas break. And she's redshirting this year because obviously she wasn't here in the fall. So she's just taking this time to get ahead and just learn about our program and what we do as a team.
Yeah, so talk to us a little bit about that red shirt, like kind of how you decided that that was the move for you this year.
Yeah, so for high school, I had decided to finish my classes online because I only had 2 classes to finish, and I was able to be more productive and do my workouts and all that good stuff. So I did my last 2 classes online, and when I was talking to Karen, telling her that she gave me the opportunity to come in January, so I decided to redshirt so I could take this time to prepare for my incoming actual freshman year, which starts in August.
That's awesome. So I know it's a little bit different versus when you're actually playing versus when you're redshirting. So is it like, how connected are you with the team as of right now?
Yeah, so I feel like it's the same. I mean, obviously the only difference, I get to practice, do weights, do everything, travel with the team. The only difference is like I'm not actually playing in any games, but I'm still like connected with all the girls and everything, so
That's
it's
awesome.
the same.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And when she got here in January, she probably felt like, oh my gosh, this is a lot, but she really fit in well with us right from the start, and she just started to get what we were doing so quick, and I was kind of surprised, but she was just super intentional with what she was doing and what she wanted to learn from us, and she's just one person who asks so many questions, and sometimes it's annoying, but
It really is.
but it's just it's gonna help her, and it's gonna better her game and her like just who she is and what she's gonna be for this team.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that too, because my next question for you was, how is that transition process from high school to college going for you?
Yeah, so it's different, but it was super helpful because like obviously I came into a team who's like was already established, been with each other for a few months, but all the girls are all super welcoming, so I like anything that I had questions about or if I felt uncomfortable, like there was always somebody there to like make me feel a part of it or like just pick me up and help me do everything, because obviously I was just kind of thrown into it a little bit, just especially like when season started, but everyone was super welcoming and it was definitely good.
That's good. Even though they're making jokes about the fact that you're not even really supposed to be there.
Yes,
Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't even know how it started, but
I think Peyton started it, and then when I went to tie my shoe, we were walking into South Carolina and I went to tie my shoe and you were like,
she literally almost tripped me. I didn't even see. She just bent down to do that out of nowhere, and I literally almost fell. And I was like, Ella, you're not even supposed to be here. But it's funny.
yeah, it was so funny.
Like the whole team does it now.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And sometimes Peyton will get mad. She's like, I came up with that joke and now everyone's saying it. I'm like, Peyton. It's funny, but yeah.
That's awesome. So in terms of who you train with, who are your training partners and what have you learned from them this year?
Like on the team or just like?
On the team.
I feel like on the team, I'm definitely around Laura a lot and Des. And at the beginning of the season when Bella was playing Bella, because I've been practicing in the middle infield. And so I've definitely been around them a lot, and they've kind of helped me with a few things. Obviously the coaches, but pretty much just all the girls in general, whether we're hitting or doing anything. I mean, if someone sees something, we can all help each other. Even Zeta was helping me with something in the beginning of the year with like transition. So just like anybody really just helps.
That's awesome. So my next question for you is, obviously the Lady Vols have been having a fantastic season so far. They've been playing really, really well. What is your perspective on the team cohesion and just what the team looks like right now as we're getting closer and closer to postseason?
I feel like every game that we have helps us like get closer to the team that we try to be each day. Whether the result is good or bad, like everything from each game we take it and help better us. Like even the past few series that we've had like a little hiccup like in the game, but we've used that to help us become the team that we want to be, and we're still trying to like figure out who we are, and I feel like it's definitely really pushing us in the right direction, and we're definitely getting closer to where we want to be at the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we go back to the training part, because when we have weights, she does a different workout, and it's more than what we do because she's not playing.
Right.
So give a Monday workout.
I don't remember all the workouts, but I think I do the pit shark. Well, just sometimes I'll do the same like workout that everyone else has, but I'll have like extra sets, extra reps, and then sometimes Dan will throw in like other exercises as well, and then I'll have like the assault bike and stuff like that.
Like she
So
just has
thanks,
more
Dan.
cardio than we do in season,
Yeah.
because I always see her running on the turf.
Dying on
yes.
the bike too.
At first I was like, what? Why are you sweating that much? Because like
Yes.
when we're in season, we don't sweat really that much as we do in the fall.
Yes.
And she was just over there like,
And I sweat
I'm
so
like,
much too.
what? So she does have like extra cardio than we do,
Mhm.
which I kind of feel bad for you, but it's okay.
It's okay. It's getting me ready. It's getting
Yes.
me ready. I'd rather use the time to
Yeah.
get better, even if it's hard. But
Absolutely. And you said Dan Worth?
Mhm.
Is that
Yes.
y'all's strength
yes,
coach? I
love Dan.
I love Dan.
Yes.
When I got here last summer, my strength coach for Swim and Dive was actually out of town, and so that whole first week, Dan took me through my
Yeah.
entire lifting program. He is the coolest guy.
He is.
He's so sweet.
so fun.
I go up to him like, Dan, 8 assault bikes today? Are you kidding me? He's like, I'm like, Dan, please, please. He's
Change
like,
it.
no. I'm like, okay,
Oh my gosh.
whatever you say, Dan.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
but he's the best.
that's awesome. I love him. So transitioning into the fall and to this season, this upcoming season, outside of this one where you're going to play, what are you most excited for?
I think, my class coming in, I definitely feel really close to them, and we were all supposed to like start college together. So we kind of had I just saw a few of them yesterday when they came to our game, and they were like, "You started without us," and I was like, "Don't say that. Like that makes me sad." But I feel like we're all really close, so it's definitely gonna be a lot of fun when they're here, and then also obviously the fact of actually playing. So it's so much fun being here, redshirting, but next year will just be the next step, actually being able to compete in games and all that stuff. So I just think that will be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to play, just because
Thanks.
how she is in practice and how good of a teammate you are during games too. Like it's so easy to not be locked in when you're not playing, but she is just so locked in. She's always in the front of the dugout. She's always charting stuff, and her charting is what helps us when we're going up to bat, because she's writing down the pitches and stuff. So just you being able to be locked in and just be a good teammate, I know you're just going to be ready to succeed when it's your turn to be on that field and playing in front of all those fans that we have. So I'm excited for you.
Thanks. I'm super excited.
I know I'm not going to be here to play next to you, but I will be there pitching BP to you.
No, I'm so happy you're still gonna be there.
I know.
No, it's definitely nice, because I also wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to be around any of the seniors, be friends with them or even just learn from them. So, and there's a lot of seniors this year. So those are a good group of girls who I got to spend time with, which I wouldn't have been able to before.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Seems like the leadership on that team is really, really something special, Dana.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Ella. We really,
Thanks for
really
having
appreciate
me.
it, and best of luck next season.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you, Ella. I will
Thanks,
see you
Ella.
at practice.
Yes.
And wait.
At Weights with Dan.
Today we welcome our starting catcher from our baseball team, Cal Stark. Thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so the baseball team has been doing really good, and I just wanted to bring Cal in as the starting catcher and just get some of his perspective on his team. So first, I want to start off with your grand slams and your offensive production. You've hit 2 grand slams this year, which is crazy to me because grand slams are rare when I watch baseball. I know your first one was earlier in the season against Eastern Kentucky, and your latest one was about 2 weeks ago against Auburn when y'all won against them. And I believe you had 2 home runs in that game, 7 RBIs.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind in that game?
So that weekend, we'd all been kind of swinging the bats well, and I had a couple good swings, like in game 1, and then in game 2, I hit some balls really hard, but they were outs. So I was feeling good going into that game, and then I came up, and I think it was the second inning. Might have been the first, I don't remember. But bases were loaded, and I really was just trying to hit a ball as high as I can to the outfield, just to get a sac fly and get an RBI. and that one ended up going over the fence. And so I mean, I kind of blacked out a little bit whenever I hit that one. But no, that swing felt good, and then I guess it just kind of carried over into my next at bat when I hit the second one for that game. So that was a fun game. You know, kind of one of the highlights of my season right there so far. So it was fun.
That's good. So, like, what goes through your mind when you're going up to the plate? Like, I know, like, I don't know much about, like, baseball and softball, like, when it comes to, like, scouting and stuff like that. Like, do y'all scout the other team's pitchers? Like, what does that look like when you go?
Yeah, so, I mean, every team, for the most part, will have, like, scouting reports on pretty much every pitcher that is on the other team. You know, like, talking about, like, what kind of pitches they have, what's their velo on certain pitches, what is, you know, all that stuff. So, kind of depending on like what the pitcher like looks like, what kind of pitcher he is, lefty, righty, you know, all this and that. That'll kind of like tell me like what I need to kind of think about going into that at bat. So it kind of differs every time. For the most part, it's just, you know, try and get a pitch I can handle and just put a good swing on it.
Right. And, you know, as a catcher, you're used to seeing, you know, catching balls from pitchers, like different pitchers on your team. I was just wondering, like, when you are on the offensive side of it going up to bat, like, are you reading the pitcher, like, while you're in the dugout? And, like, because you do that with your own pitcher, but when you're going against a opposing pitcher, does it make it, like, a little bit easier when you're at bat because you can notice these little things, or is it really not that noticeable?
You know, I wouldn't say it's easier because baseball's still hard.
Right.
But I think, you know, you can always, like, take stuff from, like, just watching, you know, the other guy. You know, we talk about that a lot, you know, with our coaching staff, and then within our dugout, you know, we try and, like, pick up on, like, certain stuffs that can just, like, you know, if it'll help us, like, we're obviously going to, like, try and go and, like, you know, see it. So, I think we're always trying to like pick up on little things that could help us, even the slightest bit.
Okay, so we've been talking about offense. So I just wanted to know, what is it like playing with two teammates of the name of Blake Burke and Christian Moore?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, I think they're two of the best baseball players right now in college baseball. So getting to watch the seasons that they're having it's unreal. And then normally I'm hitting, you know, the 9-hole, and Simo is in the leadoff spot. So, I mean, pretty much every time I get on, I'm gonna score because he's gonna do something cool. So, but no, it's really fun, you know, just getting to watch them. Because I mean, they're also some of the hardest workers on our team. So, you know, getting to see them have success, it's really fun for all of us to watch.
Yeah, so kind of in that same vein, like this entire Tennessee team is just super, super talented. So being a catcher, what's it like, you know, managing such an elite staff of pitchers?
Yeah, no, it's actually really fun. It's something that I kind of take pride in. I put a lot of work in with Coach A, our pitching coach. You know, like talking about, you know, certain things that may happen throughout the game. Scouting report, you know, how we were talking about, you know, we scout their pitchers, but we scout their hitters too. So like kind of learning, you know, little things like that, and then really just having a good relationship with all of my pitchers. I think that can go a long way in helping them, you know, be the best pitcher they can be each time they go out there. So doing those things, I take a lot of pride in, and I feel like it helps a good bit.
I think leadership is really key to a team's success, and in baseball, you know, you have a lot of people that go into the game. There's a lot of roles that go onto the field where everybody needs to be clicking at the same time. And I just wondered, what does leadership look like on y'all's team? Is it player-led, coach-driven? Like, how does that? Is there captains?
Well, we don't have any specific captains. Obviously, there's guys, you know, who've been here, you know, longer than other people. Like a good one to like look up to is Kirby Connell. You know, he's been here for 5 years. Everybody knows Kirby.
You're right.
Kirby's a great guy. So pretty much if you just kind of follow what Kirby does, you're gonna be just fine. I'd say like a good team is kind of 50-50, like player led and coaches led. So you know, like you know, you're not having to have the coaches do it all the time. You know, players like Kirby, they know when to step up. They know when to, you know, say things that need to be said. So I think it's a mixture of both. And back to Simo and Burke, I think those guys are you know, two of our big leaders too. So mixture of those guys, and then Coach Vitello. I mean, he knows how to rally us up. So he knows exactly what he's doing, and he knows how to. Going back to what Kirby knows when to say stuff, and obviously V knows when to say stuff. So I think the mixture of that just makes our team that much better.
So speaking of Coach Vitello, I was really, really lucky because I got to meet him a couple months ago. I had to interview him for a school project I was doing. I was working on a country music and Tennessee athletics story right after he made his famous statement about Dolly Parton back in November. And so I went in his office, I sat him down, asked him a bunch of questions, and he was so helpful, so down to earth. But my question for you is what he's like on the field, because I know that how a coach acts off the field versus on the field are two very different things.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes the same way with all of us. I think, Joel, I think you might, kind of agree with this. Whenever we're like either on the court or on the field, whatever sport you're playing, you kind of turn into like a different person. So I mean, we're all just competitors. At the end of the day, we're just trying to win a game. So kind of whatever is necessary to win that game that we're playing that day, whether it's, arguing with an umpire or screaming at us, trying to get us going, or cracking a joke, making us laugh. Whatever needs to be done to win that game, he's willing to do it. And I think that, going back to the leadership thing, I think that's kind of what makes him a good leader. Is he knows when to crack a joke, he knows when to kind of light a fire into us. So he's just very competitive.
Okay, so the new rankings just came out today. You all are third in the nation with a record of 33-7 and 12-6 in the SEC. So the only two schools ranked above you are Texas A&M and Arkansas. You all just finished a series against Kentucky, and they are listed right below y'all. Those are all SEC teams. So what does that speak to of the competition in the SEC?
Well, I mean, I've been saying this for the past few years now. I mean, ever since I got into college, I think SEC is the best conference. I think for any sport, not just baseball, not just football or basketball. I think all of them. I think the competition here is just on a different level. So I think being able to play in that, it's just. I think whenever going down the line in the postseason, I think that helps us out a lot more. Because I feel like, this weekend, that was a big-time series. I mean, they broke their record for attendance 2 games in a row there. Oh, wow. So, getting to play in that environment, in the middle of our season, I think is just going to help us keep going down the line. So.
And that was going to be my next question about postseason, because I know in basketball, the SEC prepares you for the postseason.
Yeah, no doubt.
And like you said, in any sport in the SEC is very competitive. So I was wondering, what are some key things that you all think you all need to focus on compared from last season to this season, and how successful y'all are doing going into the postseason?
Yeah, last season we actually made a really good run deep in the postseason. Making it to College World Series. Mm-hmm. So obviously that's our goal again. And I think the key things that we need to, continue to do and continue to work on is just kind of taking it one game at a time. Coach V is really good about keeping us where our feet are at, really not trying to look ahead, because I feel like, especially in this league, whenever you start looking ahead is when you're going to get beat.
Right.
So I think as long as we're focused, one game at a time, and then really just not treating a moment like it's too big. Just be where your feet are, stay relaxed. We're just playing a sport. That's kind of what you got to. I know it's hard to do it sometimes. I know, you playing basketball, you know what I'm talking about. It's hard to do it at times, but really just realize you're playing a sport and then just have fun with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so shifting gears, a little bit more personal. Jewel and I actually had a really, really long discussion about this in one of our previous shows, just on NIL and how it impacts different sports. So for women's basketball, obviously it's a lot more involved. Women's basketball is heavily impacted by NIL, but for swimming, which I did, there's not really, a huge NIL community. And so my question for you is, what's your NIL experience look like, and what does it kind of look like overall for the sport of baseball?
That's a good question. I think, how can I answer this? I think it's gaining more and more each year for baseball. just because I think more people are starting to watch it. I think with the players that are in the game right now, not even just Simone Burke on our team or Billy, like just in all of college baseball, there are some big time names that are getting recognized, and I think it's just growing the people that like enjoy watching it, because I think with the bat flips and all that stuff, the trash talking, it just makes it a lot more fun to watch rather than just going and sitting at a stadium for 3 hours watching a ball get thrown around. So I think the way the game is kind of changing is helping in the NIL aspect of it, and I think it's just going to continue to grow because of that reason. And then I guess for me, I mean, I got a couple shirts out there. So.
Okay, get your merch.
But no, I mean, it's been cool, because I mean, I never really even thought about like getting money in college for sports, and I just figured out I'll just go play sports while I go to school.
Right.
That's really all I thought. But no, it's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's kind of what we've been talking about with women's basketball too, because like women's basketball has so much more visibility this year, and so there's a lot more NIL opportunities. There's just like a lot more attention going towards college sports as a whole, which I just think is really, really cool. So my last question for you is, what position on the field do you think is the most difficult to play?
Oh, I think that's obvious. I think it's catcher, no doubt about it. You got 95-mile-an-hour coming at your face, and you're trying to catch it, but it could get hit into play, and then you got to, run in back of a base, or it could get fouled off into your face. But no, I think it's catcher, just because of the physical toll it takes on your body as well as the mental side of it, having to deal with all that stuff. I mean, pitcher's probably the close second, just because you're kind of controlling the entire game.
Right.
But nah, it's definitely catcher.
So I remember watching baseball, like, I'm a big Rangers fan, you are too.
Yeah.
And maybe like 5 years ago, I don't know if the game's, it's definitely evolved, but my question is, like, as a catcher, I remember like runners like coming to home plate, like they could just truck you. Can they do that anymore?
No, they can't do that anymore, but sometimes it still happens.
Yeah.
I mean, last year, I got knocked out in a game because of it.
Sheesh.
So, I mean, obviously, like, freak accidents still
Right.
happen, but no, they're not just allowed to, like, run you
I
over
remember
football style anymore.
That's dangerous. So I would definitely agree with you on the standpoint of catcher being the
Yeah.
hardest position.
For sure. And the reason I asked that was because, like I was saying before the show, my brother started playing recently, and he had, being a middle infielder to start, he had so much more appreciation for how difficult that role is, and just really like controlling the runners on base and making sure they stay where they are and not letting them advance and things like that. And so I was curious what your perspective was on that.
Yeah, no, there's a lot that goes into it, for sure.
Cool.
Well, thank you for joining us. Make sure you tune in to the baseball team as they have a series at home this weekend against Missouri.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys back here next week. Go Vols.